How are you guys doing? Look, without wasting a single second of your time, I want to talk to you about the true meaning of happiness. And I want to do it through a movie that changed my life, The Pursuit of Happiness. Have you guys actually seen it? Because if you haven't, honestly, you're missing out on one of the most beautiful yet gut-wrenching lessons life has to offer. See, most of us are programmed to think that happiness is a destination. We think, if I just get that much money or that specific job, then I'll finally be happy. But this film shows us that happiness isn't something you find at the end of the road. It's about the road itself, especially when that road is falling apart. Imagine being 30 years old, homeless, your wife has left you, and you're looking at a bank balance of exactly $21. And the hardest part? You have a 5-year-old son holding your hand, asking you, "Dad, where are we sleeping tonight?" Bro, this isn't just a Hollywood script. This is the real-life struggle of Chris Gardner. So today, let's talk about what happens when life blocks every exit, and all you're left with is the pursuit. Let's get into it. You know, Chris Gardner didn't just tell his story. He divided it into chapters. And as we go through them, I want you to honestly ask yourself, have you been there too? Or maybe you're going through one of these right now. Chapter 1, The Ride. In the movie, Chris calls this part the ride. It's that phase where you're just running. You're knocking on every door, but every single one is locked in your face. Chris is out there carrying those heavy scanners, struggling just to survive, while the rest of the world just zooms past him like he's invisible. Have you ever felt that? Like you're running twice as fast as everyone else, but you're still stuck in the exact same spot. Maybe you're putting your soul into a project or a channel, but the world just doesn't care. It's a lonely feeling, man. It really is. Chapter 2, Being Stupid. This is when Chris makes a mistake. He trusts the wrong person, or he loses a scanner. We've all had those stupid moments, right? Where you look in the mirror and think, what am I doing? Am I even cut out for this? But here's the thing. Chris didn't have the luxury to sit around and feel sorry for himself, because right when he's dealing with his own mistakes, life hits him with a knockout punch. His wife, the person who was supposed to be his anchor, she gives up. She leaves. Just imagine that for a second. Your bank account is zero. Your career is a mess. And now the person you love most tells you they don't believe in you anymore. I don't know if you've ever felt that kind of silence in a room, that moment when it hits you that you are truly, completely alone. Most people quit right here. This is where the story usually ends for the average person. But for Chris, this was just the beginning of the pursuit. So then comes the hardest phase of all. Chapter 3, Internship. Imagine this. Chris gets an internship at a major firm, but there's a catch. He has to work for 6 months without earning a single penny. It's unpaid. And out of 20 interns, only one person will get the job. To the rest of the world, this was madness. People would say, how can you work for free when you can't even pay your rent? But Chris knew this was his last shot. Sometimes in life, we have to make choices that make everyone else laugh at us. But deep down, our heart knows it's the only way out. But the real pain starts when they get kicked out of their apartment. Chapter 4, Running. Now, Chris and his son are wandering the streets with nowhere to go. And then comes that one scene that breaks even the coldest hearts. The public toilet at the railway station. People are banging on the door from the outside, shouting and cursing. And inside, Chris is sitting on the floor, holding his 5-year-old son in his lap. He covers his son's ears so the boy won't hear the noise outside. He makes up a story, telling his son they're hiding in a cave to escape from dinosaurs. The boy falls asleep, but Chris is crying silently. That is the moment when a man's pride completely shatters. That moment when you feel like an absolute failure. Have you ever felt that? When the whole world is asleep and you're sitting alone at 3 a.m. wondering if things will ever change? But here is the most incredible part. Despite all that pain, the very next morning, Chris irons his clothes, puts on his tie, and goes to the office looking like nothing ever happened. Because the pursuit of happiness doesn't mean you won't face sorrow. It means that despite the sorrow, you refuse to stop. And finally, that day arrives. The day Chris risked everything for. It's the last day of the internship, and his boss calls him into the office. He looks at Chris and says, "Chris, are you wearing your tie today?" Chris is nervous, but then he hears the words that change his entire universe. "Tomorrow, wear it again, because tomorrow is your first day as a broker." Bro, in that moment, Chris doesn't dance, he doesn't scream, he just quietly picks up his files and walks out of the office. He stands in the middle of a crowded street, his hands are shaking and his eyes are filled with tears. He says to himself, "This part of my life, this little part, is called happiness." You know, the title of this movie is spelled with an I instead of a Y, because happiness isn't found in the world's Y, it's found in the I inside of you. Happiness doesn't mean having millions in your bank account. It simply means that when you look in the mirror, you can honestly say, "I didn't quit." I think by now you all probably understand the true meaning of happiness. It's not a destination, it's the courage you show every single day when the world tries to break you. All right then, I'll catch you guys in another deep gossip session. Bye. Oh, and hey, subscribe to the channel, man. See ya.